If you're in school, do you stand up during the Pledge of Allegiance? The American Humanist Association recently launched a campaign at don'tsaythepledge.com where they're encouraging students to stand up by sitting down during the pledge. Now, that's a really tough thing to do because you're just kind of drawing attention to yourself. But let me explain why it might actually be a good reason to stay seated. First, the words "under God" weren't even in the Pledge of Allegiance to begin with when the pledge was written by a Baptist minister named Francis Bellamy. If you want to be really amused, go on Wikipedia and look up the Bellamy Salute. The words "under God" were added in 1954 when we were trying to differentiate ourselves from those godless communists. The words are just a relic of the Cold War. They need to go. But for now, the legal challenges haven't worked, so we're stuck with them. What's worse is that the pledge used to say we were one nation, indivisible, but when "under God" was inserted right between them, it actually divided us. By the way, it turns out that if you actually tell people everything I just told you and then ask them if they support the words "under God" in the pledge or whether they want to see it out of there, more than a third of Americans say we should remove it when they have the whole story. If you want to know more about that study, there's a link below. Next, the pledge isn't really about patriotism. I love this country, but I don't like and support everything it does. And this idea of unquestionable allegiance to the country, it's kind of scary. If I told you that a nation like Saudi Arabia or North Korea made all of their public school students say a pledge of allegiance to their country every day, well, you would call that brainwashing. And why are we pledging allegiance to a flag? It's a symbol. I know it's convenient in a classroom, but this is part of the reason so many people have trouble understanding First Amendment issues. If you ask people if it's okay to burn a flag, they'll be like, "Whoa, you can't do that." Why not? It's a piece of cloth. Any meaning we give to it, it's all in our heads. You see Catholics doing this all the time too with communion wafers. They freak out anytime someone gets a hold of a consecrated wafer who shouldn't have it in their hands because they think you're destroying Jesus or something. That's a symbol. No one's eating your God. Let's not idolize symbols. I'm pretty sure there's a commandment about not worshiping false idols, and this is along those same lines. The pledge is a time waster too. In all the years I taught at a public high school, we said the Pledge of Allegiance every day. We also had a moment of silence every day, and it's not like it helped. For most of us, for teachers and students included, it was just one of those rituals you had to slog through before you could actually get down to work. If anyone wants to say the pledge, they can. We just don't need to waste class time to do it. Here's another problem. Does anyone really think people are paying attention to the words in the pledge? I would assume that a lot of students don't. They memorized it when they were younger, and they're just going through the motions now. And having kids just kind of recite things without actually thinking about them is not what we should be teaching them in school. That's what church is for. And what about the last phrase in the pledge? Liberty and justice for all. Really? Do we have that? Ask LGBT people if they have equal rights everywhere. Ask the people in Ferguson, Missouri. Or poor people trying to have their voice heard in the upcoming elections. It would be great if we actually had liberty and justice for all, but we don't. So let's not pretend that we do by saying those words. That's why you shouldn't stand for the pledge. And I know it takes a very courageous person to stay seated while everyone around you is standing up. But your school legally cannot punish you for staying seated. And what's more, if you stay seated, other students may just follow your lead. Someone just has to tip that first domino. Why not you? And by the way, religious students can do this too on their own because they feel that it's not the right thing to do to stand for this pledge, or in solidarity with all those other students who feel too afraid to do the same thing. So forget the pledge. Hell, our elected officials should be pledging allegiance to us every day. If you do stay seated and you get in any trouble for it, please let the American Humanist Association know. That website is don'tsaythepledge.com. So I'm curious, for any of you watching out there, do you stand for the pledge? Do you stay seated? Either way, what's your reasoning? Let us know. My name is Hemant Mehta, and I write at friendlyatheist.com. Please leave a comment below, and we will be sure to check it out. And don't forget to subscribe.